All right, today we are diving into a document that is, well, pretty out there. It's supposedly the transcript of an interview with a being who calls himself a Muslim jinn. Now look, we're not here to say if it's real or not. We're just here to explore the incredible world he describes, a world that, if you believe him, exists right here, right now, just out of sight.
So if the first thing that pops into your head is a big blue genie coming out of a lamp, you're going to want to stick around. Because according to this interview, that couldn't be further from the truth. We're talking about a vast, hidden civilization that has absolutely nothing to do with granting wishes.
So let's be super clear about this. Everything, and I mean everything, we're about to talk about comes from this one single source. It's a recorded conversation with this alleged jinn, Ibn Kjour. We're just breaking down what he had to say.
Okay, so first things first, what do they actually look like? Well, you can pretty much throw out every horror movie monster you've ever seen. The interview kicks off by basically hitting the reset button on our entire perception. So on the one hand, you have a we imagine, right? Twisted faces, animal parts, all that scary stuff. But on the other hand, the source describes something totally different. A noble, almost human-like form, just with a few key differences. And no, they don't live in lamps. They inhabit a whole parallel world. So what are those differences? Well, he gets really specific. Their heads are a little bit larger than us. Their eyes are long and wide, kind of like a deer's. Their ears, pointed, like a horse or a cat. Their arms and fingers are proportionally longer. And, get this, they have two tiny, almost unnoticeable horns. And this really gets to the core of his claim. He says, look, yes, some devils might take on terrifying forms just to scare people. But the natural form of a Muslim jinn, like himself, is supposed to be, in his words, good and noble. Okay, so we've got an idea of what they look like. But where in the world do they live? If you're picturing some far-off, magical land, well, think again. The answer is actually much, much closer to home. According to the source, their biggest cities are under the ocean. They also live in remote places we barely go to, like deep deserts and mountain caves. But here's the part that's going to make your skin crawl. He claims they also live right here with us. In our bathrooms, our drains, and even in empty, unused rooms in our own houses. And it seems their whole society is kind of like a mirror of ours. The interview claims jinn have different religions. Yep, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, you name it. He even says that a jinn family of a certain faith might choose to live unseen with a human family who shares their beliefs. And just to give you a sense of scale here, get this. The jinn being interviewed says he's 180 years old, and that's considered young for them. He claims some jinn can live for thousands of years, some as long as 7,000. I mean, can you imagine watching all of human history just fly by? But the interview isn't all about the jinn. It takes a much, much darker turn when it starts to describe the organization of Iblis, or Satan, and his demonic army. And the claims here get incredibly specific. Think about this for a second. According to this source, evil isn't just some abstract concept. It has a physical headquarters, a home base. So where on earth would the devil's throne actually be? Right there. The interview claims the main throne is on the ocean floor, and that his primary command centers are located in, you guessed it, the Bermuda and Formosa triangles. It even suggests that all those stories of planes and ships with malfunctioning equipment, that's what happens when you get a little too close to their world.
And this whole thing is described like a well-oiled machine. The source actually names 5 of Iblis's children who act as his top lieutenants, and each one has a very specific job to cause chaos in our world. You've got one who creates hatred in marriages, another who spreads lies, one who starts fights in the marketplace. It's a full-on operation.
So, let's say this is all real. How are we supposed to live on the same planet with them? Well, the end of the interview lays out a whole set of rules and warnings. And this is where it gets really practical. And honestly, a little unnerving. The source claims that certain things in our homes are like magnets for devils. First up, any statue is a living thing. Second, any photos or pictures of living things hanging on the walls. And third, and this one is super weird, leaving a room in your house totally empty and unused is apparently like putting up a vacancy sign. And then there's this. This might be the single most specific and memorable warning of the entire interview. And the reason he gives? You could accidentally scald a jinn family living down there in the pipes and, well, they might decide to take revenge. There are a few other warnings in there too. Devils supposedly can't stand the Islamic call to prayer and will flee from it. It's recommended you say a prayer before going into a bathroom. They're said to be drawn to filth, empty wells, and, bizarrely enough, places that are half in the sun and half in the shade.
So, what are we supposed to make of all this? Is it an incredible piece of folklore, or is it a peek into a reality that's hidden from us? Either way, the world laid out in this one interview is so detailed, so complex, and it's supposedly happening right under our noses. It really just leaves you with one giant question. If an entire world like this could exist right next to ours, completely unseen, what else are we missing?